Every day, people take pictures in Hollywood. Sometimes it's tourists using a mobile phone to take a picture of their favorite star on the Walk of Fame. Sometimes it's paparazzi snapping photos of a celebrity leaving a restaurant. There are even surveillance cameras on practically every street corner. And then there are people like Shawn Nee, an award-winning street and documentary photographer.
I live in Hollywood, so I tend to focus on my community where I live. I focus a lot on the marginalized community within my neighborhood.
Over the years, Nee has collected a trove of intimate moments across a place that can seem glamorous and muted simultaneously.
Taking photos is a part of who I am. It's almost like innate in me. It's just a part of my personality, and it's just like I will always do it, and I just need to keep on taking photos. Like most of the people I photograph, we're friends, and the camera is just part of our friendship now.
You may know Nee already. He's posted a few videos to YouTube documenting his conflicts with law enforcement over his right to take pictures in public places. He says he never seeks the incidents out. They happen at the most surprising times and for the most surprising reasons.
It's just trying to stand up for what's right, the rights of photographers and everybody else who wants to take a picture in public space.
But one of those encounters at a Hollywood subway stop in October 2009 was different from the rest, and new information about it reveals how easy it is for one to go from photographer to suspected terrorist.
Well, I had spent all afternoon in Hollywood, Highland area, taking photos. It was Halloween weekend. I was coming home so I was on my way home from doing that.
The turnstiles in the subway had come under public scrutiny, so Nee decided to take a few photos of them for a local news website before he left the station.
Took 2 photographs of the turnstiles and then was approached by Deputy Gylfie and Deputy Bayes.
How come you're taking pictures?
There's no statute against photos on the metro.
Why are you taking pictures, my question?
Deputy Richard Gylfie is a terrorism liaison officer, and on this day, he and his partner, Deputy Roberto Bayes, were patrolling the subway stop at Hollywood Boulevard and Western for potential Homeland Security activity or suspicious activity that may have a nexus to terrorism.
There are individuals that are taking photographs and are filming security sites for ill deeds, for terrorist activities.
Stephen Whitmore is the senior media advisor for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
And so we are very vigilant about making sure that that's not happening.
I want to know if you are in cahoots with Qaeda to sell these pictures to them for a terrorist purpose. That's a crime. You understand?
I'm not committing a crime by taking photos.
I don't know that you're committing a crime or not. But take your hands out of your pockets when I'm talking to you.
Photography is not a crime, it's artistic expression.
Peter Biebring is a senior staff attorney at the American Civil Liberties Union of Southern California and is representing Nee in a lawsuit against the Sheriff's Department.
There's no reason to believe that just the fact he's taking photographs, he's engaged in any kind of criminal or terrorist activity. Millions of Americans every day use their cell phone cameras, point and shoots, up to professional grade cameras to just document the lives around them, to snap a funny moment between friends or a little piece of beauty nestled in an urban environment. In public spaces, on public streets, no law bars people from taking photographs.
Are you going to cooperate with me or not? Maybe
I'm asking if I'm being detained for what purpose?
I just told you.
It's not illegal to take photos.
Tell you what. I already asked you one time. Let me see your ID. You don't want to do it. Now we're going to have a problem.
The officers took off Nee's messenger bag that the camera was clipped to and put it on the ground. Deputy Gylfie then held Nee's hands behind his back and patted down Nee and searched through his pockets.
The way that this is done is clumsy at best and probably a violation of someone's rights.
Lori Levinson is a professor of criminal law and a former federal prosecutor.
I think what's troubling is everybody is wary of where is the terrorism. And for the local law enforcement, they don't want to be the one who's caught missing something. So what has happened is that they've gone from their traditional job of catching crime to really pretending that they are out to save the nation by seeing terrorism all over the place. And they don't really have a firm understanding of how far the Fourth Amendment allows them to go and how long the First Amendment protects the suspect.
Their training focuses them. They know what to look for and what not to look for. However, having said that, it is an evolving process. We are getting better at this.
A training manual used by the department from August 2010 lists a number of surveillance indicators. The manual encourages officers to be suspicious of picture taking or video recording around them, especially with high magnification lenses. The manual goes on to list other indicators like note-taking at non-tourist locations and taking pictures of railroad tracks, bus terminals, and street signs.
One is that that's a pretty broad standard. Picture taking of a sign, a street sign, somehow becomes alleged terrorist activity, so it's probably overbroad. The second thing is more, how are they trained to be suspicious and then react to the suspicion?
At one point, things escalate, and Gylfie begins to threaten Nee.
You know what? I'll just submit your name to TLO. Every time your driver's license gets scanned, every time you take a plane, anytime you go on any type of public transit system where they look at your identification, you're going to be stopped, you'll be detained, you'll be searched, okay, you'll be on the FBI's hit list. Is that what you want? That's the direction you're headed.
On one level, you're thinking, is this really happening? And then on one level, another level, you just think, this shouldn't be happening.
It's one thing to go up to somebody and say, why are you taking pictures? Or tell me about your background. It's another to say, if you don't cooperate, if you don't stop, I'm going to put you on a watch list. Your life is going to be a living hell. That's not the job of law enforcement.
After Deputy Gylfie and Deputy Bayes didn't find any warrants out on Nee, he was let go.
Sorry you don't believe in public safety.
After Nee filed a complaint saying that his First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated, an internal investigation was launched.
And at the conclusion of that, the appropriate action was taken. I wish I could tell you more, but because of the Peace Officers' Bill of Rights, I cannot. But I can say this specifically to you. The appropriate action was taken.
This is the Internal Affairs Bureau investigation report that contains the information Whitmore can't talk about. The department defends the officers in the report, saying that they've been trained in procedures used by terrorists and are hypersensitive to indicators such as the behavior and evasiveness shown by Nee.
You know, it's a little troubling in the IA report, the actual words that they use to try to defend the officer. One would expect that they would describe the officer as professional and even sensitive to what's happening on the street. But they use the word hypersensitive, which seems to suggest that he might see terrorism where others do not, that he's over the top in the way he reacts to what would be conduct on the street.
The report comes to the conclusion that the vigilance shown by Deputy Gylfie in detecting suspicious activity is laudable, and we are encouraging others to be as proactive. What's even stranger is that even though the deputies couldn't find any reason to arrest Nee, we now know that Deputy Gylfie submitted Nee's name to the FBI. He submitted it through a suspicious activity report to the Los Angeles Joint Regional Intelligence Center, a fusion center, which is in line with department policy when identifying suspicious activity. Fusion centers collect and analyze data from multiple law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, trying to stop major crimes and terrorism before they happen.
That raises concerns that people who are engaged not only in lawful activity, but actually constitutionally protected expression, are in this database where they're identified as engaging in activity that may have a link to terrorism. And we're not sure exactly what results that may lead to. What happens when that individual is stopped for a traffic violation? What happens when that individual tries to fly in and out of the country?
What I'm saying is that if we have got probable cause, we are going to investigate that to protect the public. And most of the time, I submit to you, we're going to be right.
The Northern California affiliate of the ACLU recently released over 100 suspicious activity reports submitted to the Joint Regional Intelligence Center that have to do with cameras. All of them originated from the LA Sheriff's Department.
The vast majority of them seem completely innocuous. They're simply the fact that somebody was taking pictures of a building at a subway station, some of them even of a skyline, the downtown LA skyline. If looking for terrorists is looking for a needle in a haystack, we seem to be adding not just more hay to the haystack, but more and more haystacks of information every day.
It's not like law enforcement doesn't have a legitimate reason to be concerned. Could there be terrorists on the streets? Are they trying to gain intelligence? Are they taking photographs for a nefarious reason? But it seems like it's gone too far. You know, the 9/11 mentality that there are terrorists everywhere could intrude on everybody's constitutional rights. It means anytime you take out a camera in Hollywood or somewhere else, you could be a terrorist. They can stop, they can hassle you, they can put you on a watch list. I don't think anyone wants to go in that direction, and I don't even think it's effective law enforcement. You can end up getting so much information that most of it is not useful, and you're missing the needle in the haystack.
Eventually everything's going to be suspicious or criminalized, and that's not the world we want to live in. That's not, the society that we're supposed to, be a part of, standing up for.